In this week's vlog, I want to talk about 3 weekly workouts which I believe made me a faster runner in the last training block, and they could help you too. Right, the first of the workouts I want to talk about is short, fast intervals. And here, because of the nature of them, I recommend you either do them on a track or on a treadmill. Because like me, if you live in a bit of a hilly area, trying to run at a pace is not always possible. Because going uphill, you're going to be slower, going downhill, you're going to be faster, and going downhill trying to run fast in training, you risk injuring yourself, especially for us older folks. So when I talk about short and fast, obviously fast is a representation of speed. So you do these intervals based on pace. For myself, I looked at doing them slightly faster than my target 5k pace. What I mean by that is, if your target 5k pace is 4.5 minutes per kilometre, aim at doing these at 4 minutes 20 per kilometre. Because they're short, you should be able to maintain that for the intervals. And the intervals themselves can be anywhere from 1 minute to 4 minutes in duration. But make sure your recovery between those intervals is sufficient to recover so you can go again. So you don't need to run the recoveries. You can either wander around or have an easy walk. I do these on my treadmill because I don't have access to a running track around here. So I just have the treadmill drop down to a comfortable walk pace of about 5.7 kilometres an hour. The sessions themselves can be as varied and made up as you want. As I said, anything from 1 minute to 4 minutes. So you can do ladder sets, you can do 3 times, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, or even 20 by 1 minute. And your recovery, as I say, make sure your recovery, so there could be anything from 1 minute to 90 seconds. So that's the short, fast intervals. Right, the second workout I want to talk about today is another intervals workout. This time slightly longer and slightly easier. This is a sub-threshold intervals workout, folks. And being sub-threshold is a representation of heart rate. These intervals are done by heart rate. So for me, my threshold is around 150 to 152. That's if you're looking at my Garmin, or I have had it tested in a lab a couple of times, and mine is very close to what my Garmin says. So I actually based the zone I'm going to run in slightly below that. Maybe it's up to 146, 147, but with an aim of running about 141. So top for me, that's the top of zone 3, bottom of zone 4. These intervals are longer, anything from 5 minutes upwards, and we do them outside as part of a normal run. So what I would normally do on this session is go out, warm up for 10 minutes, couple of kilometers, whatever, then do the main working set, and then I would look at doing a bit of a warm down. So the working set itself, again, you can play around with this. At the beginning of my speed session, I was starting off with something simple, like 3 by 5 minutes, and I built up to about 4 by 8 minutes. But you can go up to like 12-minute intervals, depending on what you're training for. I was only training for 5Ks, so 3.8 minutes was sufficient. If I was training for 10Ks, I would have probably built up to 3 by 12 minutes. When I said 3 by 8 minutes, I actually did 4 by 8 minutes. That's where we were on there. And again, for these, you need to recover between your intervals, but it's not an all-out recovery here. 2 minutes between interval is sufficient, but aim just to drop down to zone 2. You might have to walk like a few steps to get your heart rate to drop initially, and then when you get into zone 2, just jog along to zone 2 to the start of the next interval. So that was the second workout. Intervals again, sub-threshold intervals. So the third workout I think made a huge difference isn't even a run. Yes, I can hear you groaning from here. It's strength and conditioning. I know us as runners like to go running, but I do believe getting in at least a weekly strength and conditioning session in made a huge difference to me being able to run faster. I keep it basic. So I stick on the strength side, I stick to compound moves. So that's for myself, that is squats, deadlifts, bench press, and shoulder press. I do the sets, 6 sets of each, 3 sets as warm up, then 3 sets as heavy. You don't want to be doing all this low weight, high rep stuff because you get plenty of that sort of stimulus when you're out running. So build a bit of strength, use a bit heavy weight, and heavy is heavy to you. Your heavy is different to my heavy. I'm getting older now, I'm not as strong as I used to be, as well as not being as fast as I used to be. So that's the strength side of things. But the conditioning side, all I did was a mobility workout. So I do my strength, then some mobility. And that mobility could be a yoga floor. I personally just did a follow along runner's mobility session off the internet until I developed my own, and now I have my own mobility floor that I do. And I know I don't like doing it, but it did make a huge difference. Because as you're getting older, when you try and push yourself, you had more risk of injury. Doing strength, doing mobility helps offset some of that risk. Also, running at speed takes strength. Whether that's strength in your legs, your glutes, your core, it takes strength. Building that strength helps you run faster. And if you think, I did well over nearly 3.5 minutes, I knocked off my parkrun during my speed block. So it works, in my opinion. There's my dog, looking very muddy because the weather is filthy out here today. Go on, Farah. So there we have it. The 3 weekly workouts, I think, will help you become a faster runner no matter what your age. And just to recap, they are hard, fast intervals on a treadmill or a track, sub-threshold intervals out on your run, and strength and conditioning. What I would warn is don't do the 2 interval sessions back to back. Have at least a day's recovery in between, whether that's full rest, an easy jog, or a bit of cross training. Give your body time to recover in between. But for now, it's so long from me, that's so long from a fluffy pup. So catch us later, folks.